Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is High Rise Invasion, Volume 9. Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards. Though the series does posit the concept of, being a bastard makes it easier to progress. It is not better or worse than any other method of progression. It is simply the one that people turn to the quickest because it is the most logical. I'm legitimately very curious to see if the manga is ever going to take a definite stance. I don't think so. I do think the whole concept of becoming close to God and then becoming God is meant to be sort of a general metaphor for becoming big, becoming the most important person. Anyway, speaking of the most important person, Rika is going to meet, I believe, the manipulator who can control 30 angels at once. Really curious to see how this turns out. Always glad to have the text here telling me that yes, this is not in fact based on anything in real life. I should not be afraid to, you know, I shouldn't look at this and go, oh no, is this related to that incident in which the walkways, passed through a bunch of skyscrapers last week and then people murdered each other on them? Hmm. I guess I can't really say he's not the type I had in mind because for a series like this, like when we don't see a character, I never consider what they might look like, which is interesting for like a series that's all about, or that is on some level very much about masks and about the idea that like you don't even have to put on the mask necessarily, but once you do, it reprograms you. Like once you take it off, you are fundamentally changed. It is not a series in which a mask is something that changes your identity and you can switch between them. Like you become fundamentally different once you put one on. And despite that, I never consider, like, what does this person look underneath it? I do think of the mask as just their face if they have one on. Okay, his name is Mamoru Aikawa. I should really write that down so I don't have to consistently call him the guy who controls 30 angels. Though, to be fair, I might be jumping the gun. Like, we do know that if you control, like, how do I put this? We know that some angels can take off their masks for a short period of time, and it was implied that, like, if you can suppress these suicide commands, they could just keep their masks off, like, indefinitely. So it's completely possible that this is legitimately just a mask pretending to be, the manipulator, and the real manipulator is somewhere else. I mean, is he just going to say, that's a girl's name, or is there something else there? Oh no! Oh no, it was the, you have a girl's name. Jeez. Hmm. I mean, I'm going to guess that whatever he's about to say, it's not going to be ordinary, right? My wish is simple. It's survival of the fittest. Okay. I mean, yeah, I get his mentality here. I do think it is messed up, but at the same time, that is the reason why, like, most people who enter this world have to have at some point the thought of, oh, should I just try to kill everyone? Like, it is so easy to collapse on your morals in pursuit of survival. Like, if survival is everything, then everything else becomes number two. Like, you can't hold any ideals higher. And I think that's actually really, it's a problem when you take something like survival in general, and you apply that to a greater ideal. There's something about it, like, it's a dangerous combination of something that is inherently exciting, something that I think everyone is on board for. Like, I'd say most people are on board for surviving. But when you stretch that out to this idea of, well, everyone should play under these rules, I think it becomes extremely toxic. I think it's also a lot easier to say stuff like this when, when you are relatively detached. And he seems like he's, high school age maybe. So I can definitely remember myself in high school thinking like, oh yeah, what if we just killed like 90% of the world? Would that not be better? It's unbelievably callous as a concept. He's 26. Oh boy. I don't think this has ever actually come up in the series itself. It may have been implied, but I don't think anyone's ever specifically said that, this mechanism to create God then makes you God in the real world. Like, I think this might be the first time anyone's directly expressed that as a concept. Up to this point, genuinely, I guess I haven't really thought about it. I just sort of assumed that if you become God in this world, you are literally God in this world. In the same way that this world is very clearly based on Japan, or like not on Japan, but like on a ton of high-rise buildings from all across the world. I assumed, they were all cobbled together because, it's a world of imagination, or it's a world of the subconscious or something like that. Rika's brain is so satisfying. Like, I have my problems with him in general as well, but I find it really, really, it's nice to have someone who has a bias. Like, he definitely does, but at the same time, he has this level of snark that I just find very fun. Like, with another character, with Yuri, for instance, I do think she'd be more taken aback here. She might be even more convinced. Whereas, like, Rika has no time for this bullshit. So he's being diplomatic. Sure, sure. I mean, especially in this situation where they don't know his capabilities, but he is definitely, like, putting all of his friends in danger. Or not all of his friends, all of the people he's around right now in danger. Hmm. Is this the maid, or is this another mask? Okay, okay. I misread that for a second. Like I'm pretty sure what he's saying is, he can manipulate 30 masks, and he may have had 30 masks right now, or before all of this, but because Rika's faction's been killing them off, he has fewer. I thought for a moment he was saying specifically, I have less ability to control masks because of you for some reason. I mean, it is such a bad combination of someone who does not give a shit about anyone else in the world and the ability to control 30 other people. I'm also curious to see whether, like, oh boy, what is her name? Yayoi, the femdom mask. I don't know if we have a name for her. I assume it would be Whip Mask, but like the way she is, I cannot tell whether that is her personality bleeding into the programming or whether he specifically said act like a sadist. Like, there is a point where she does regret it. Like, it isn't her trying to defy orders or anything. It is just her wondering, like, did these people have to die? And then the programming kicks in, which makes me feel like he chose for her to be a weird femdom lady, but I don't know why he would do that. Like, that doesn't align at all with his, survival of the fittest thing. Now, this is definitely a situation where it feels like an info dump, but at the same time, it's coming through someone unbelievably biased, so I cannot take any of this at face value. Like, he feels like the kind of person who would enter this world, gain the power to, become close to God, and then from there he would immediately go like, okay, well, this is my idea, and because it's my idea, it's definitely fact. This is just how the world works. Oh, that's a volleyball uniform, okay. I guess whether you name them based on the weapon or the uniform really just depends on whether the person finds the weapon or the uniform more distinctive. Ah, can you believe it? An ordinary person can become superior than the president or the superpower of that richest billionaire in the world. Oh boy. But yeah, so it is also the rush of going from nothing to everything that's really taking hold of him. I've talked before about how I do think High Rise Invasion is this really cool intersection of like having a ton of isekai stuff without being an actual isekai, and in the same way, like being a death game without having like a bunch of stuff I hate about death games in it. Like it's this weird intersection of a bunch of different genres without like 100% being any of those genres. I guess being a death game is the closest thing it is to like being 100% of a thing. But I really like this character for being like the most recent thing I could think of that aligns with what I perceive Mamoru's character to be is uh, at the start of Arifureta, which I saw the first episode of relatively recently. Uh, like it definitely has this weird power trip fantasy thing to it of, main character has no powers, is useless, and then he gains extreme power and he gets a gun and he's going to be so badass, he's going to kill his, old classmates. It has that feeling of the zero to hero power fantasy, but the concept of hero in this case is extremely skewed. I guess it's more of a zero to hero revenge fantasy, except that's not even quite accurate here because he doesn't want revenge. It is more just after gaining this extreme power, his extremely stupid views on society have fundamentally shifted, and now he's decided, okay, I guess I'm just going to go through with it. And yeah, fair point, Rika. Like, Rika also has this level of chuni here. I guess that's the thing. They both have not a level. Like, Rika definitely has more chuni tendencies. Like, not in the sense of literally not understanding reality, but like in the past, he was definitely the kind of person who would like pick up a bunch of really cool facts, like a bunch of survival facts, a bunch of like edgy information because he was like, oh yeah, I could use this in the future. Yuri, you gotta remember this extremely obscure fact that could help you if you end up in a gunfight. Like, he's not a bad person, but he has tendencies that I could definitely see bloom into something like this. Okay, so are they going to destroy the helicopter? Hmm. Because the helicopter is piloted by one of the I'm so used to thinking of them as angry masks, but we did like from the dealer mask, we did learn that they are guardian angels. So, like, it is being piloted by a guardian angel. So it's not something where you can just get onto it and then tell them to do whatever. Like, presumably, because each of the guardian angels does a housekeeping task. he would only fly you out of this world. Okay, in order to become a complete god, you must go to that tower, which makes sense, sure. Like, we do know that Yuri saw that tower in the distance way before this all happened. Oh, okay. I mean, we've never been close enough to realize that there are no bridges to it, right? Okay, interesting. But I mean, like, in that case, why didn't he do it already? Like, if he knows all of this. Hmm. I am the one who should straighten this world. Like, now it feels like he's sliding into the realm of a character who, like, thinks he knows everything and then does something that, aligns with his goals, and then he gets killed for it because it wasn't the right answer. Hmm. Oh, that's actually, like, that's a neat bit of characterization. Like, I've always seen this as Rika talking to Yuri in order to, I don't know, to make himself feel cooler, slash, like, genuinely to give her information that she could use to survive in the future. But it is also, like, him, like, acknowledging that when he talks to her, he is organizing his thoughts. This does remind me of, the first time he has a call with Yuri, and he just outright says, like, super callously, he just says, yeah, kill Nise right now. And Yuri immediately refuses and says, "I will kill you if you, continue on. If you continue this line of thoughts." Like, that actually makes me think that he might, if he started off with the power to control 30 angels, he may have been way closer to this than to anything else. Like, I could easily see, starting off in this world, I could definitely see an active plan of, well, angels are bad, so I'm just going to try and control as many as possible and then have them kill all the others. Which, again, is not completely wrong. Like, once you become an angel, you are completely overwritten. But at the same time, like, it's so callous, and from there, it becomes very easy to then say, like, well, if we're gonna kill all the angels, let's just kill the other survivors as well. Hmm. Yeah, like, he doesn't have a level of cockiness to him that would have been, like, a very easy Achilles heel. He has a combination of having these really high-minded ideals, while at the same time understanding that he is, like, that he's not that strong by himself, that he does owe his power to the masks. Okay. So Volleyball Mask noticed that, like, she noticed his emotions at the very least. If only I had more power. I wonder if we're leading, like, if we're moving to a point where he'll become close to God, and then the two of them will fight against one another. Like, that makes a lot of narrative sense. Like, especially with the build up to Yuri putting on the mask, and that idea of, like, she had to do it. It was the smartest thing to do overall in order to protect everyone and herself, and, to revive Nise, even though that wasn't necessary. She didn't know it at the time. Like, it is very possible that putting on the mask is a, not death sentence, but it is a declaration that, like, I am now part of this world, I have programming in me, I can't leave via helicopter anymore. Oh yeah, that's right. By the way, I really do enjoy the storytelling around Sniper Mask. Like, the fact that everyone else has, I wouldn't say, like, straightforward storytelling. Like, they all have a bunch of stuff we don't know about that is, occasionally revealed. But Sniper Mask's backstory and how we thought for so long that he was Rika, and then, like, they still have a connection that we haven't fleshed out, but now we know that he's connected to the Femdom Mask and to the swimmer. Like, oh no. So she was gonna bring it up, but it, like, clearly Yuri's not gonna remember this. This does feel nostalgic. Like, to be fair, it has been a lot of chapters, but it's also been, like, not that long in universe. Episode 108, The Guardian Angels. So, I mean, makes sense. There is going to be a guardian angel driving the helicopter, or flying the helicopter, sorry. So, are we going to dig into them at all? Also, I guess that raises the question of, if you're close to God, can you manipulate the guardian angels? Or are they completely off of everyone's wavelengths? Because so far, like, we've only seen the two, right? I'm really glad we're getting a little mini-map here. Like, especially because of the way the world is. Like, some of the buildings are a little distinctive, but I think a big part of the distinction has to be, like, if you know what the building looks like in real life, you can pick it out. But for me, they all look basically the same. Okay, yeah, the two of them are way further away than I thought they were. Right, he doesn't know about Yuri yet. That is something else I do, like, it's been so long since I've read the series, so I know I'm probably saying a bunch of stuff I've already said, but I do have to praise the series for, like, managing people not knowing things, while at the same time, like, there is a, like, it isn't a situation where we have to remember that, oh yeah, this faction knows absolutely nothing about this or that. Like, Rika and Yuri do have regular calls. So they do update each other. It's just in between the updates, their perspectives get skewed. Ah, like, are they that lucky? Is it going to land right there? Oof. Okay, that was absolutely bait. I mean, that said, it did fly right by her, which makes me wonder, like, did it pass them up specifically because she drew her guns? Like, we do know the last time they shot at it, like, the pilot shot back. I mean, yeah, their faction needs the helicopter the most. Like, they have the most people who do not want to be here. So where is it going? Is it? I mean, it's so close. Like, is it just screwing around? If it doesn't land here, it is actively trying to screw around with them. Oh, by the way, I am wrong. I said before, like, it was definitely the pilot that shot them last time, but no, it was this guy who absolutely is not the pilot, because the pilot has to be piloting it right now. Oh, is he calling someone over? Hmm? What was that? Okay, so they are intentionally, like, circumventing. Yeah, that has to be it. It has to be, like, the reason it did those flybys was, like, it wasn't unintentional. They were specifically going to all the factions and checking them out and then saying, okay, let's not land here. So what is the problem? Because we do know it landed not that long ago. Like, it did just touch down when no one was around. I guess that might be it, actually. Maybe it only touches down if people aren't actively waiting for it. Oh, okay. Now, I don't believe this, but it does make sense given this specific information. Like, yeah, it makes sense that, like, that they would be actively trying to stop anyone from becoming God. Like, up until now, I've assumed they were just, trying to maintain the realm. But yeah, that would also fit with Dealer Mask guarding a specific area, and, like, she would have killed them if they didn't go, if they had chosen to go there. So I guess the problem must then be, you can't let the Angry Mask know that you're near the helipad. But at the same time, you do need to get to the helipad. The order of operations here is super weird. Or I guess not super weird, because it has to be then, like, getting rid of defective masks, or defective programming, I should say, is absolute top priority. And then underneath that is don't let anyone become God, which, yeah, like, that seems counterintuitive to the whole point of the realm, but then it makes sense if they're supposed to be, the bosses. If they're the ones that, assuming all the other masks get killed or are all controlled, they're the last bastion of making sure the world works as intended and there is a challenge. And then underneath that, you have, like, normal mask behavior. So I wonder if we're going to end up in a situation where, I mean, we've already been in a situation where arguably the masks have been jailbroken, but that wasn't an intentional thing. It was just a quirk. It was a coincidence that someone happens to get it, and then they met our main characters, and then our main characters were able to carry it around. But I guess I wonder if we'll hit something like that, where, like, I guess I don't know how that would work, though, because all the programming goes into everyone who is close to God. Like, there's no real way to optimize it. It is just, if you can remember it, or if, like, if it is something that makes sense to you, there is something internal in the programming that allows certain people to unlock certain parts of it. Plus, with Yuri, like, I guess Yuri is an exception in that the self-defense program came on while it was being installed, and as a result, she has just the self-defense stuff. But I guess that means that, like, if that had not happened, if she was not being attacked between seeing the mask for the first time and then properly putting it on, she would have no abilities. Because we saw when Yoshida, like, when we saw Yoshida's flashback, like, he had put on the mask before, he was close to God, and then in the middle of, of being attacked, he was unlocking abilities. Whereas, I guess that means, actually, that this might be the worst case scenario for Yuri unlocking future abilities, because she has the power to protect herself. Like, she won't be in a situation where she will think from the bottom of her heart, I wish these masks, would not attack me. Because, like, at the bottom of her heart, she will know that she can fight them. That doesn't mean that she can't progress, but I do think it means that a lot of abilities that would have come up as a result of desperation won't come up now. I was skeptical, but I think that makes sense now. I think we also have to then assume that the Angry Masks, the Guardian Angels, are loyal to the realm itself, like, just the realm. Like, there probably isn't someone else standing in as God or anything, because they've never indicated that in the slightest. It has all been pure programming. So, there's at least a West group, most likely more groups just scattered about then. And this does actually, yeah. This does mean that he is like the previous fight was not for nothing. The previous fight reduced his forces and he is like scrambling towards a goal. Like he is not going to sit around and try to get more angels. Like we should assume that the number he has right now is essentially the amount he will always have. Or the amount he'll have and it'll only go down, not up. Also, I wonder what he means by will become superior angels. Like does he just mean I'm expecting you guys will serve very well? Or is that is that something like a guardian angel? Is it possible to level up? Because that could also potentially explain the whip mask. Hmm. This world doesn't have limits. Ah, we did see like I don't remember if it was confirmed or not, but I remember at the time thinking that the dealer mask was definitely trying to stop Rika from going to like the back room. Like most buildings seem to have a back room where the masks can, get changed and wash their faces and eat some food and, like get their weapons. So presumably, like it would be possible to become stronger not by just fighting masks, but by going to those rooms and stealing all the stuff in them. Volleyball and servants? That is so weird. I mean, it's weird that he's saying servant and not maid. Like, for a series that, like, presumably he's Japanese. And, like, it's so weird that he would not just say maid. I mean, I guess we may have had a maid mask before, but even then, it's like an in-universe thing. Like, he wouldn't know that. Yeah, the doctor had a maid mask, right? The shorter one. Okay, never mind. So he is actually trying to, like, increase the number of angels he has. Also, an angel capable of conversation, so I assume this is going to be the whip mask. He could just have a bunch of them, but whip mask makes the most sense out of what we know right now. Oh. My occupation when I was in the previous world was a high school teacher. He's really young for a high school teacher. Hey, there she is. That really makes me feel so much worse about him. That, like, he's so immature and, like, his view is so terrible, and yet he was a high school teacher. He was teaching the nation's youth. Okay, so she is going to interrogate him. Alright. Yeah! So, this also definitely makes me feel like he did explicitly tell her to be all femdom-y. I've already sent white feathers at location. It does seem like he names them more on their uniform than their weapon. So, like, what would white feather be as a uniform? Like, is it an angel with actual, like, feathers on them? Like, I mean, the way he's saying this implies to me that white feather is going to have an actual ability of sorts, as opposed to just using brute force. Because otherwise, I mean, like, any mask can use brute force. And he does, like, he brought the idea of them not being alone, but he doesn't seem to be assuming that he'll be able to, like, emotionally manipulate them. So I don't think it's going to be a, kidnap one of their friends and then put a gun to their face. It's got to be something that you can only, that you can do with one person. Yeah, okay, and yeah, it is a strict survival of the fittest situation. Like, he did say the Dagger Mask was completely inferior, but no, that is just a result of Dagger Mask failing. It has nothing to do with his previous performances. It is just, he failed, so he's inferior now. It does seem, like, I feel like we would have had more of a tell if he was specifically making her act like this. So I do think, like, at least a portion of this is definitely her just straight up personality. I mean, she can also talk, which makes me think that, she was probably like this before. She's probably in a similar situation to Sniper Mask. Oh boy. I mean, this is honestly a bad idea for Sniper Mask. I mean, it'd be a bad idea to let Kuon do it too, because I don't think she would have the manipulation ability to to talk on the phone and to not let certain information slip. But at the same time, like, does this ability work through technology? Could he control Sniper Mask via the phone? Because that could really screw him over. The fear of modern civilization attacking the Sniper Mask. Okay. That is a good question. Like, is this a situation where, he didn't know how to use a phone beforehand? Or is it the mask still suppressing things? Because I can't imagine, like, he's already circumventing some level of the mask, so I highly doubt it's a thing in the mask where masks can't use the phone. I mean, no, they have to be able to use the phone because, Aikawa was literally just using the phone to talk to the angels he's controlling. So it has to be then that Sniper just doesn't know how to use a phone. Or before he became Sniper, he didn't know how to use a phone. Think, therefore I am. Generally speaking, it is a phrase to prove your existence. Okay, so we are going with friends. I remember in the past thinking that Sniper may have been a teacher or something. And like he's like we can't base anything on his outfit because the masks do put on like costumes. Oh boy, Sniper Mask 2. I really like her cap. It gives her a very like Robin Hood feel. Hot damn. Like that is bullet timing. That is hot damn. Oh, I forgot how bad Manga Box's like proofreading was. I can even duck riffle bullets. But yeah, I think that is fair for this point. Like, it doesn't matter what your truth is. Right now, it is just what you are at this moment. I mean, there's a time and place for existential dread, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, it's not that it's a dumb question, it is that right now, this is not the right question to be asking. It's so wild that this is a, like, not dodgy sniper duel. Like, it is specifically a sniper duel where they can dodge sniper fire. So it is more of just a straight-up duel. I mean, in addition to that, presumably she is a normal mask. Whereas, like, they both have the same pre-programmed sniper ability, but he has free will, so he should be able to outthink her a little bit. But she can talk. Oh boy. He might actually fall here. Oops. Oh, now he's just a sitting duck. I mean, yeah, we have to assume this is concrete, right? Like, these aren't just windows that are glazed over. Otherwise, he could just kick through. But, I mean, someone's got to save him, right? Like, there's no way he's going to just flip the rifle up and try to, try no-scope her. Oh, it would actually be really cool if Kuon was able to control her. Because then Kuon could have 2 sniper masks. I think that would actually, like, that would legitimately fit her aesthetic, because she also has the railgun. I'm into it. Let's see if she'll do it. With the binoculars in her hand, she jumps high and goes to rescue the sniper mask. Now, Kuon, how do you know this? I mean, you can write off a lot in the series by, literally having programs inside of your brain. Like, it allows you to just hand wave away a lot of information, but at the same time, like, if I'm going to... Like, if I'm not going to take everything Aikawa says at face value, I have to also assume that what Kuon says is not 100% correct at all times. So, I don't know. For some reason, I do feel more faith in Kuon when she says things like this. Like, I do feel like she somehow has the extra secret sauce. I mean, she does like the sniper. Is she going to use the railgun here? She's got the programmy eyes going on. I mean, yeah, I guess it would be the ultimate tragedy if they tried to save him using the railgun and they also blew up the building he was on. When he and I were really little, we promised that we were going to have a showdown on a certain thing. It was a real... Which one will live a cooler life? That fits Rika so perfectly. And I mean, I guess it also fits Sniper. Like, he hasn't been as chuny as Rika, but God, I love the idea of 2 kids saying, I'm going to have a cooler life than you, and then sticking through it all the way up until, like, they're like 17 or 18 right now, right? It's the perfect mix of being extremely chuny and also being competent. Like, they both committed to it seems. Or at the very least, Rika did. I guess we don't know if Sniper committed to being cool. But I mean, he's been pretty damn cool. Aim here. Why? Is it reinforced? Oh, I get it. So, he doesn't have a plan. His last moment is just, this is going to be a cool way to die. Please tell them that I stayed super cool till the very end. If he knows that, he won't be able to say that he won against me until he has lived a cool life. They can't find it? Like, there's no way they're going to... Okay. Okay, so Nise is definitely seeing the railgun being set up. What are you doing there? Who could it be? Like, who has a blade that we're focusing on right now? I mean, I guess it could be one of Yoshida's masks, maybe. Or not Yoshida. I'm thinking of... No, I didn't think of Yoshida. Like the one with 5 masks. Ainchan? I kind of just assumed the Doctor was completely written out of the story, but okay, why? Like, in what circumstance would he be here? I mean, I guess they might just be around the same cluster of buildings he was originally on. Hot damn, okay. So, I mean, that is good. It is good that they're not going to use the railgun because the more they use it, the more you'll be able to triangulate where exactly they are. Episode 112, True Evil. I mean, it does say something cool on that. She did really want to do it. You know, Nise and Rika do have a similar energy to them. Like, Nise is the straight man for Yuri, and Rika is also the straight man for Yuri, but in a much different way. Like, Rika is meant to be more cool and calculated, and, he is living a cool life. Whereas Nise just gets more of these, I can't believe I'm around these people looks. Like, I would definitely enjoy the series a lot less if Nise wasn't around to do this occasionally. Hot damn, okay, Sniper Task number 2 is actually pretty good. I guess I should be calling her White Feather. But, that's the least part of her design. It's so small compared to, everything else about her. No, it's Sniper. I mean, did he manage to crawl back up onto the roof, or is he shooting from the, cable? Hey, okay, he did get to the top. By the way, it does bother me that they're spelling her name as A-I-N, when it is absolutely supposed to be E-I-N. I forgot about it until I saw Zvai's name there. I remembered, oh yeah, that's the point of their names. Also, I was thinking of Ein when I talked about the other maid mask before. There may have been another actual person with a maid mask, but I was definitely thinking of her last time. Is he beginning to gain an appreciation for friendship? I guess I should take them all out to dinner or something. It would be so surreal to have these characters all end up in, the... What is the term I wanted to settle on? There's a specific term I've been using. Not the vanilla worlds. I guess the world of origin. Once they return to their world of origin. It would feel so weird to have Sniper Mask around as just a dude. Now, is she just leaping to another building? God, these leaps are so insane. And yeah, that is a good point. He's been to the dress rooms, so we can assume that, they don't have a full a full armory in each one. I guess they must be, that's a good question, actually. Her whole design is supposed to feel very sniper-esque, very, bow and arrow-esque specifically, even though she uses a rifle. If she chooses a different weapon, will she maintain the same outfit, or does she have to change her outfit as well? There have definitely been masks who don't have weapons that, correlate with their outfits. The big butcher mask had a chef's outfit on. So that made sense. Or I guess it was more of butcher shop outfits. But we've had a couple for sure that are just big buff guy and he has a crazy weapon. It's weird hearing him say something like that, a rifle, it only kills innocent people who can't fight back.
Have another sniper.
I mean, that was what the last few chapters were. It was a sniper versus sniper battle. I mean, to be fair, he wasn't there for this. He was just inside. So I guess he didn't notice.
Also, what is the difference between a sniper rifle and a pistol in terms of fighting somebody who can't fight back?
I mean, I think what he was getting at was the distance. You can't shoot back unless you have a sniper rifle.
I guess, yeah. I was thinking, you're not in a close quarter fight.
Yeah.
It's a very Japanese thing to be I don't like guns because it's not a fair fight.
And we are... it is a ruse, but it also isn't. This is fueling his misconception that, she can control angels. I wonder if we're going to hit the, I assumed that because they're in the same general area, they would meet up. But it's also possible they might split apart again, and then the next time they meet up, Yuri really will have the power to manipulate angels. It's cold comfort. I think she's better than true evil. Yeah, fair. I mean, to be fair, that does make sense. She did try to give off the feeling of being evil the last time they met. So I guess the best she can then get, from a sideways glance is, well, she's better than true evil. Oh, did he run into, one of the other directional teams then? That story, which happened just an hour ago. Also, I gotta write down his name. I didn't do it before because I assumed I assumed he was a one-shot character and that he was just done. But if he's gonna hang around, I better write down his name. Oh, what a good boy. He's so mature as a 10-year-old boy. He's some sort of, I guess, Western, he gives off very, surf vibes almost. Just, a resident of a medieval kingdom who has a sword, but he's not a knight or anything. Okay. It's not because I knew the angel was manipulated. I felt that unspeakable indication of fear. Hmm. Oh no. Okay, thank God. I thought this kid was going to die for sure. I mean, the old guy was also, like, near death last time we saw him. There's definitely no way he's better now. Hmm. Boy, this man's never gonna do anything in the series. I mean, I guess, to be fair, he did deliver the spear, which did help, but this man's never gonna fight again. Some way. Hmm. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm terrified that this is a misspelling of samurai, but I guess it could also be, like, something I've never seen before. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more I think that it has to be that the whip was, that she is just like that. She is just the big femdom mommy. Like, otherwise, I would have assumed that Aikawa would have just told all of them to be fanatically in love with him. And this backstory also makes, like, now I understand why the doctor said, she's better than absolute evil. All right, so the doctor now has, like, an actual small little faction. I mean, let's see if they meet up or not. I mean, they're gonna wait, but I can also see something happening where they have to skedaddle. It feels like we're cooling down, but at the same time, like, there's no way, right? Especially because we haven't, like, Aikawa has directly said that he wants to get more masks. I assumed this was going to be a slow war of attrition, but if he's going to get more, then, like, there will never be a calm moment if he can continuously replenish his 30 angels. Oh yeah, ooh, I forgot. Like, yeah, I guess Kuon must have the ability to not be attacked by angels, or not by all angels, but at the very least by Mask, since he doesn't immediately attack him or immediately attack her. So never mind, she's definitely someone close to God. Boy, I don't know when the manga will allow us to see his face. It feels like it's got to be at least like volume 15 or so. Like, it teases us so much with his mask specifically being taken off. Or just, like him saying, hey, I could take it off, but I'm not gonna. Hmm. Okay, and he did learn how to use the phone, which also implies that, it's not that he's, like, there's an inbuilt thing stopping him. It is just that he did not know how to use a phone. Also, why did she email it to him? Like, why didn't she just call him? I guess because he has so much going on. He may have told all the masks to just email him. So, he can go through them and then call them if he needs to. I mean, I do think we're already starting to see his ideology really crumble. Because, like, there's no way that he's going to get more out of these masks. With the exception of Femdom Mommy Mask. Like, she clearly is super down with his vibe, so she's excelling. But with all of the others, like, I think the fact that he has no inherent like for any of them, the fact that it is a sheer meritocracy means that none of them are going to strive to be better. Like, there is some level of, like, will to it. Like, even if they're doing something they don't want to do, they still, like, do it in their own way. And she isn't telling him about Sniper Mask. I think this design looks like, it's not mind-blowing, but yeah, it's pretty dope. I do like specifically, him having the mask on his armband, like as an armband, as opposed to just holding it in his hands. It's a strong aesthetic. I wonder if he has the ability to disable the suicide commands. So he is overthinking it a little bit, which makes sense. Like, you shouldn't immediately go for the the idea of, oh, it's just Kuon and she wanted to save one angel. But this also does bring up the idea that, like, there is strategic value in being able to charge up the railgun without firing it. Hmm? Okay, your electrical potential is getting unstable. I mean, we saw this, I think, once before. I might just be thinking of his hair. But I assumed for sure that was literally, that was just there for effect. Like, it's the traditional manga lightning. But no, that seems to be an actual thing. I wonder if that's, like, if that's just a him thing, or if it's all of those close to God have an actual electrical thing going on. Because I remember some electricity around when Yuri became close to God. So it's very possible that, like, there is actual electricity going on. I mean, there are programs being installed in their brains. Like, it would make sense if there was, like, some level of transmission there that isn't just you look at the code and you get taken over. And we are bringing up, again, the proper way to use the railgun. Now, how do they do this? I am very curious to see how they collect more angels. Because he has to physically be there. It isn't just that an angel is around and then, I mean, maybe they do just kidnap other angels kicking and screaming and then drag them over to him. Looks like it might rain. I mean, that is the double-edged sword of you can't really tell, like, because everything is high rises, it's very hard to distinctly tell someone, like, hey, this place, without it being a very obvious place to meet up. Ah, what is Nise thinking here? I think you said earlier that you wanted to pee badly, right? Hmm? Okay, so they're going to talk. Never mind. I kind of assumed that she was saying, "Hey, you wanted to pee, you should go pee," and then she was going to talk to Yuri one on one. But they're gonna talk. Okay, that does explain the title of this one. You wanted to pee badly. Hmm. Secret talk always starts here. Ah, how clever. Catching her off guard with her love before getting the actual information out of her. Now, why is Yuri separated from them? Like, why is it that she doesn't get to know this information? Like, in a meta narrative sense. God, Rika knows so much about guns. It's so weird. He's such a Junie. Oh boy, I sure hope they didn't get attacked. So, you gotta assume he has some level of self-conscious then. Ah, is she going to put him down? Okay. I think this also implies then that Kuon knows how to use it correctly. Like, she hasn't been using it correctly, but she could if she wanted to. Like, I mean, I guess it could have also just been, skipping over the exact way in which she would explain that she knows how to use it. I mean, the smartest thing to do would just to stay on whatever building she's on. Like, you can't use the railgun without annihilating the building you're on. And depending on where the tower is, that also, like, knocks out a bunch of other buildings. Like, there are a lot of ways to make sure that she cannot use it on you. So I don't think it's that dangerous. It would only be dangerous if they split from her. So, I mean, he is programmed to attack, so he is attacking, but... Huh. Alright, they're gonna have to put him down. I mean, Kuon was able to, she was able to bring Rika out of unconsciousness. So maybe she could bring this guy, like, out of his killing, reverie if she tried. Like, that was stated as not it isn't manipulating a mask. It is inherently something different. It is, going into their minds and pulling them out. That is a good point too. Sniper Mask has kept her, like, pretty isolated. And even now, like, even in this instance where she's close to actual violence, she still is not close enough to be in actual danger. She is able to just observe it safely. We're definitely going to get a scene at some point where, she is an actual, peril. It's a good two-page spread. If it didn't have all the text over it, I would have considered making this a thumbnail. I mean, I've been using the volume covers as of late, but I don't know, it's so dynamic. And so she's also, like, it isn't survival of the fittest per se. It isn't a outright, like, we need to eliminate the weak. But, like, she has internalized the idea of kill before you get killed. Kuon's gotta be able to change it, right? Like, is this here just to crush her spirits, or will she find a way out? Oof. Nah, he dead. It is pretty wild that we've gone from the Rider Mask being terrifyingly powerful to this situation where he was just as strong, but because both of them have, like, super strength at this point, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not a absolute they're going to die situation. It is just a fight. Oh no, are they gonna get backstabbed? Okay, never mind. It's just Sniper Mask. Whew. Good point, though. I mean, we have seen that the mask can be sneaky if they want to. Like, the Sniper Mask was able to do it because he has a mind, but even the other masks can, they don't immediately run in screaming. They really do need to have better, coordination. I mean, she is the only one who hasn't peed yet, so fair. Oh, that's also a cool point. Like, he was keeping his eyes closed then. Oh, that really reframes the whole thing. I really just assumed he was tilting his hat to be cool, but okay, he was intentionally making sure that he could not see her. God, it's gonna be such a weird dynamic if the four of them travel together now. And yeah, that is a good point. Like, Kuon can't, internalize this idea that she is weak. No one here. I guess Nise was strong when she got here. Like, Nise had a real messed up backstory. But, like, Yuri was just a girl. She was just a normal person. Like, there is nothing that she can do that Kuon can't learn how to, do. Oh boy. What can they get out of the smartphone? I guess it really depends on whether Aikawa has group calls. Or, group chats. Because if it's all one-on-one, that feels so wasteful, though, especially with a cell phone in this world. Like, there's no way all of his masks have cell phones. It has to be like one cell phone per faction. And then, like, maybe he only sends out the white mask on her own, but I have to assume he probably sends her out with other people sometimes. There might be a fair bit of information on each one, even if there isn't a group chat. Huh. Okay, first of all, how does he have an investigate? I mean, I guess he has 30 people, a bit less, but still, like with that amount of people, I guess he might have teams for Northwest, East, South, and also investigative teams. Boy, okay, things are starting to really sizzle. Oh, so those are Ein's colors. That's actually really cute. I was assuming she was pink, I guess. I think that, yeah, that is what I've been envisioning, but I think the red really suits her. Oh, and we've got the rain because they said it's going to rain soon. Yeah, this cover is very good. That hostage is... Ah, she's back into smug evil look. Nisa, you gotta stop. Also, at the very least, like, even if Yuri's going to keep up the I'm a super badass thing, I think at the very least she does have to tell the doc that, she can't disable the suicide thing. She has to just say, by the way, my mask doesn't have a mask on. That could lead to a really tragic situation where they need to save someone who's been masked, and she has to eventually admit, like, oh, I can't in this moment. I know you were really counting on me to be able to turn off the suicide option, but I can't. And yeah, so that's not like an artificial spark or anything. Like, that's not a metaphor. That is literal lightning going between them because they're both close to God. She's really playing up the evil. Yeah, I get it. Like, Yuri is not exactly my thing, but I do like her when she's acting. I do find the haughty, slightly evil, super confident vibe really cool. God, I also love the way the mangaka draws her. Like, before, it was mostly just, like, stances like this. But here, I think they're also really, like, accentuating her muscles. It shows off that, yeah, she is trying to be, she's trying to give off that quote unquote evil vibe that she was giving off before. But now she also has the actual strength to back it up. I mean, Yuri, you can't have it both ways. If you're trying to scare the doctor, you're gonna scare the kid. He's an ordinary person, and of course not an evil person. Please don't bully him. Now, if this group of people end up, meeting up in the real world, it's gonna be real awkward. Imagine a grown adult doctor, like, referring to you as the evil person. Okay. Till then, we must clear this building. There might be some free masks here. Was that the railgun? It's gotta be the railgun. I mean, yeah. If it's not the railgun, then someone has, like, there's no way a mask has a weapon that is this powerful. Oh, okay. No. Sorry. I was looking at the black borders, but I was assuming it was, like, actually happening. But no, okay, so she is just thinking of it. Oh, it's starting to actually tie together. I mean, first of all, we haven't seen Rika in the longest time. But on top of that, they could actually save him. That'd be so cool. I mean, we could get a tragic end where, Sniper Mask sees him, and then his programming triggers, and then he tries to kill Rika. Rika immediately kills him, and then they just go like, oh yeah, he was my friend, and I had to kill him just now. Whoops. I feel like the only way this could possibly be good, or the only way we can have, like, a not tragic good end, is specifically if Rika manages to somehow become close to God before that he meets Sniper Mask. Because if that happens, he could then, gain the ability to not be targeted by masks, and it'd be fine. Okay, so he is telling her the truth. Interesting. And what is this supposed to be? Like, I assume these ripples are supposed to be his thoughts. But then how would she be able to tell that he's lying or not? I've had a hunch the masks can read some movement of the brain. I mean, I guess that would make sense in order to determine whether someone is close to God or whether they have the ability to not be targeted. That's an interesting point, because none of the masks we've seen thus far have really mentioned that. She just said she's 18 years old. She looks so mature. Like, I think it really is the outfit. The outfit makes her feel like she is actually some sort of prison guard or something. Angel of Rifle. Oh, we're really building this up. It's so weird that Ein is on the cover here, because it feels like we're really building up to a Rika and Sniper thing. Though I guess that might be way later. I mean, also, we've had Rika on the cover, we've had Sniper on the cover. I guess we can't do a cover with them. Like, if the mangaka wants to continue to do unique covers. I also do love how consistent it is that people in the series are very bad at hiding their emotions. Like occasionally, like if they're really trying to, then they can. But in general, like we never really have someone who is just casually super dull and it's impossible to know what they're thinking. Like everyone wears their heart on their sleeve when they don't think anyone's trying to read them. I mean, I guess you could say that's a general manga thing, but for some reason in High Rise Invasion, it strikes me as very obvious, like very clear every single time it happens. Hmm. Now, whatever it is, I better clear my thoughts. Okay. Now, I guess, yeah, here is the question, and this is a good way to test it. Like, without, like, while there are actual stakes, so these are real results. They're not, fabricated results. They're not, like, just lab results, quote unquote. Like, can he lie by omission? Or is it possible for her to tell that he's lying by omission? Okay, so she can only tell if he's telling the truth or not, but, just as a human being, she can tell there's something off. Huh. And he was able to. I mean, I assume she wasn't trying. Like she's not trying to kill him or anything. But even then, with casual mask power, she should have been able to totally, get it. Yeah, that is pretty surprising. Hmm. Okay, so she's trying to get an actual emotional response out of him, and that makes so much sense. Ah, it feels so weird that so much of what we've set up is being tied together right now, like so early on. And I do think like if she forces Rika to wear a mask, that would be really cool, like as a thematic thing, because that could also mean that he might be on the same wavelength as Kuon. Kuon could then control him. Yeah, I would prefer that way more to him like becoming close to God. I think we have too many people already that are close to God. It's starting to feel kind of meaningless, and it would like actually it would increase the parallels between him and Nise, where like to Yuri they seem to be like almost on the same level. Some of them like they're more important in different ways, but they're both like the most important person in the world to her. Okay, why? For what purpose? Was it just to cool himself down? I mean, clearly she knows something is up now. You said to me earlier, if I wear a mask, I'll definitely become a strong angel. Hmm. Okay, so he's completely flipping the script. He's just going to antagonize her. Also, very interesting that Sniper, like in Sniper's eyes, like Rika is a big threat. But in Rika's eyes, and he cannot lie here, he is outright saying, he was way stronger than I am. Like he completely 100% believes that maybe he's so strong that even 30 of you are no match for him. She's trying to think it's his false belief, but no, he really believes it. To the bottom of his heart, he thinks that Sniper is better than all of them. Oh, that's such a clever move. Like it's a move that only works because of his relationship to Sniper, because he was able to completely honestly say that Sniper is that dangerous, while at the same time, like it completely. That's such a good red herring. I trust you, counting on you, and then dot 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 Chan. Like, so is he using that? It's got to be that he kind of just skimmed over his name for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I guess there is a 1% chance that the Cypher Mask's real name is Chan. Like, that would actually be a really cool misdirect. Hmm? Something happened to him. What's going on? I mean, his mask's been, a little busted for a while now, so what could it be? Like, maybe he's going to go into hibernation, but that wouldn't make sense because Kuon could just pull him back out of it. Okay, so it is just sort of not even a ticking time bomb. It is just it's just a sword hanging in the balance. At some point, he's going to go into hibernation. They can't force it to happen. They can't, be 100% sure that she can bring him out, but they gotta just keep it in mind. Okay, now, does the rain mean anything in particular? Like, apart from it, like, there are natural problems with it. It's going to lessen visibility. It's going to make it a lot more difficult to go across the bridges because they'll be more slippery. But is there a third thing? Like, is there something unique to rain in this world? Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay. So they're gonna beat the true evil. And this is so, like, there's no way he's going to maintain his status as being the ultimate big bad of the series. Oh, poor Yuri. Somebody. He doesn't have to be my brother, but I wish I had someone by my side who is older than me and reliable. Oh, it's gonna be Sniper Mask, right? Yeah, because Doc, not reliable. Old man, not good at all. Okay. Ah, but the kid was able to tell. He knows she's not true evil. Man, I'm just having a good time out there. Hmm. I mean, it's a bad idea for the two of them to be together in privates. Like, what if he emotionally looks up at her and then, loses control? I didn't know that there was a Japanese room in this world. Also, rain and Japanese room. This combination is cool and awesome. Man. So that statement feels like it really, really sums up Sniper Mask. Quick interjection. I just finished recording. I checked the recording, and I missed the entire like student fights, like the whole thing. The last thing I have, I mean, you saw it because you're watching the video right now. So all I have to say is, I think when I was zooming in at some point, I accidentally pressed the button I have as a hotkey to stop recording. Big apologies. But yeah, this entire fight was really cool. Like, I really appreciate specifically that. Oh god, I hate it. I hate it because I talked so long about specifically the connection between Yuri and Nise and how like this is the first time that the series has made me feel like they're really going through with their relationship. Like as opposed to it being a general like ha ha ha, I think I have a crush on her. I get the big blushy when she's cool. Like this was a specific they have a connection and they do love each other. So I guess there's that, and there's the whoops, there's the revelation of of the one who destroys everything. I guess. Ah, I can't believe I lost it. I mean, this will shorten the reaction quite a bit. I'm pretty sure I spent like half an hour on just the student fights and on talking about Yuri and Nise. So probably could have been cut down anyways, but ah. I do really love this whole scene. Like, I up until this point, I was really thinking that maybe Yuri was going to get the wrong impression from the students because, because like he initially phrases this as, this is for world peace, and I thought if he left it there, this would be a really cool plotline if Yuri fundamentally does not understand what Aikawa is trying to do. But then nope, the student immediately goes, "Yeah, survival of the fittest. We're gonna kill everyone. Gonna turn the entire world into this world." Which I really like. Like, I do love the contrast of, like, Yuri wants to destroy this world and free everyone. Like, she wants to essentially turn this world into her world of origin. Whereas, like, Aikawa wants to take their world of origin and turn it into this world. Like, it's not even a magical bing bang boom, I'm going to just erase all the bad, all the bad people or all the weak people. It is specifically he wants to like institute this mask system in the world that they both came from. I think that is such a cool concept, and there is this a very slight mention of all worlds, implying that hey, maybe they're not even from the same world. They could be from two different parallel Earths. Oh, there's so much. Also, this shot, like this scene of the masks on the ground, is so effective as an immediate like, oh, this is bad, this is wrong, this cannot be. Just because like I really love the fact that the world of Pyrus Invasion is very unique, while at the same time feeling very, like it feels kind of city-esque just because it is all high rises, and from standing on one high rise, you do see all the others, so it just feels like it could be any other city. But then a shot like this, where the only time we have ever seen the ground has been when people have jumped to their deaths, or they've considered jumping to their deaths. Like, to then have this be just randomly the middle of Shibuya Square, and people are just dying on the ground, not from falling, but from being murdered by the masks. I mean, I guess that's everything. Like, this vision may not be exactly what Aikawa wants to do, but I like it because it is less fair than the world of the high rises. In that the high rises have this system of, like, will you kill yourself? Like, that is the first test to see if you are worthy of, continuing onwards. Whereas this is an outright just, it's almost like a zombie apocalypse. It is just people show up and they start killing you. Like, it's so boring. It's so much worse than the setup of the high rise, of the world of the high rises. Oh, God. Anyways, I do wish I had the footage, but I don't. Big apologies. We'll do more later. I mean, if you're watching this the day it comes out, I'm not going to get back to High Rise for a little while. I do want to do a couple of other series, but when I get back to it, I'm definitely going... I might blast through High Rise faster than anything else, honestly, because I can consume it so vigorously. Like, even now, I want to read more. I shouldn't because, like, I'm starting to run out of energy, but my soul wants to read more. I have an infinite appetite for High Rise Invasion. It's such a good series. Like, it is the series that I think it's the series I have the most momentum for on the channel. With anything else, like with Fire Punch, I want to, after I'm done in volume, I want to sit down. I want to just, not talk about it for a while. With High Rise Invasion, I could read the entire series in one sitting if I want to, and honestly, I might eventually. Like, anyways, that is High Rise Invasion. I gotta stop. I've gotta cut this off somewhere. Big apologies for lost footage, and I will get to more later. Thank you all so much for watching. Please check out the server down below if you want to, talk about anything on the channel. I don't have a specific channel for High Rise Invasion, but if you like the series, let me know. Talk about it in manga general. If enough people like the series, I'll make a channel just for it. Otherwise, feel free to just post in manga general about it. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya.